Hey guys, hope you are doing well. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the insert statement in SQL. So we're going to open SQL Server Management Studio and open a new query by clicking on New Query here. And we are going to connect to whatever database we are working on. In this example, is code samples. So first, I'm going to create an empty table in SQL, just a simple table. So I'm going to do create table employee info. And I'm just going to create a few columns here. So we can do employee ID, int employee name, varchar 100, employee city, varchar 50. So we're just going to create a basic table called employee info with 3 columns. Employee ID, which is an int, employee name and employee city, both are varchars, and I'm just going to click on execute. So we just created this table. So if you do select now from this table, it's going to be empty. Employee info, if we execute this now, is going to be empty. So now if you want to insert data into this table, we have to use the insert statement. So here's the syntax for it. It would be insert into our table name, which is employee info, values, and we're going to put in the values. So the first column here in this table is employee ID. So we can put the employee ID here. So let's say it's 2282. The second column is employee name. So we're going to just put Joe here. And the third column is the employee city. So here we're just going to put Dallas. And we're going to select this and click on execute. One row affected. So we just inserted one row in this table. So if we do a select now, we're going to see that row we just inserted. So this is the new record we just inserted. So this is one way of using the insert into. You can also do insert into employee info and just define your columns here. So let's say if we only want to put values into employee ID, and in this example we are assuming that all of these values can accept nulls, where we do not have to provide a value for each one of them. So you can just do insert into employee info, employee ID, values, and here we just have to put the employee ID. So let's just put 1 2 3 4. Execute. One row affected. So if we select now, we're going to see this new value, but these two columns are nulls since we did not provide a value for these columns. In this example, we are assuming that all of these can take in nulls values, so we don't have to provide a value for them. Also, if you put the column names here, you can also define your order. For example, if I want to put the employee ID and then the employee city and then the employee name, I can put in 1111. In the second column, since we are putting employee city here, we have to put the employee city in the second column. So let's do Houston, and then the employee name would be in third position since we defined the column names here. So if we execute this now, one row affected. So in this example, we put 1111 for employee ID, Houston for employee city, and Catherine for employee name. So we can change the order too. So if we look into our table now, we're going to see that third row as well, where we have Catherine for employee name and Houston for employee city. But if you do not define the values here, you have to put them in the same order as they are in the table. So if we take these out and if we were to execute it now, so we just inserted this row into this table, but since the order was employee ID, employee name, and employee city, we inserted Houston into employee city since it's in the second position. So wrapping it up, here's the syntax for the insert statement. So you can do insert into your table name, values, and you define all the values, and you have to supply all the values here that the table has. Or you can do insert into table name, and you can define your columns here, and you can put the values for those columns. So in this second syntax, for example, if you only want to put values for column 1 or column 2, you can do that by just selecting those two columns in the table name, and you can also change the order of your insert based on this insert statement. And here you can also change the order of your insert. For example, you can do column 2, column 1, and then your next column, and then you can insert them in that order. But if you do insert into table name, by default you have to apply all of the values first of all, and then they have to be in the same order as they're defined in the table. I'm also going to provide the code in the description below so you can try it out yourself, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching.